Rich Sassman here with Century 21 affiliate. Scott Swinford here with the Hancock Mortgage.
Hey there.
It's another Mortgage Ship Monday. How was your weekend?
Short.
Mine was cold and icy.
It was, I wished I had more time. We
Spent,
went to watch my older son bowl yesterday, and that was between that and having lunch at Mission Barbecue. It was about half the day.
yeah, and spent half my open house trying to chip away ice on the stairs. Yeah, that was
not
fun.
so good.
That was fun. Yeah,
But just an extra added value for the realtor.
exactly. So, the reason, so today's topic that we wanted to go over is kind of self-serving a little bit, but at the same time, we want to know what, we want to make sure you guys know what you guys get yourself into when looking for a realtor or a lender. So basically, I want to talk why we're successful in what we do and why we do these and just that area. And what makes us successful really kind of comes together. We have a lot of same traits. And so what I'm going to say about myself is going to apply a lot to Scott and vice versa. So two of my cornerstones that I love to do with all my clients, whether they're first-time home buyers or have bought their fifth house or whatnot, it's education and communication. Education because it's the biggest purchase of your life, so you should know what you're getting yourself into and every step that goes into it. And communication, so deals close faster and nothing stupid happens, is how I like to put it. So if with those two things, we can pretty much I don't want to say guarantee, but I can say chances of having a smooth transaction go way up.
They do go way up. You know, the other thing about this is if you've watched our videos before, which I know a lot of you have, this is us. This is really how we are. There's no, like my dad used to say, there's no reason why you need to use 50-cent words when you can use 10 5-cent words. Probably an old South saying, but, I don't think Rich or I ever try to be somebody we aren't. If we meet you somewhere in a restaurant or we're out somewhere, this is really the way we are.
Well, by the way, if you see this out in public, feel free to say hi. There's nothing that I love more than people say, "Hey, wait, don't you do something on Facebook? Well, I've seen you somewhere." I always say hi to me. I love that. So
right, and I appreciate it. Of course, it scares me a little bit. Please introduce yourself and go, "Hi, I'm Steve. I see you on Facebook with Rich." Okay. But really, this is, it is. It's the way we are. It's the way we try to do business, is we want to be open up front. We're not trying to put on a facade. We're not trying to be somebody we're not. I'll tell you, I'm not the right lender for everybody. And that's okay, because some folks just may not like my style. They may not like the fact that I'm not blunt, but I'm direct. I'll tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you what you need to hear.
Which does one thing, and one thing only. It gets successful deals closed. So if he tries to do things that aren't truthful as in what he's telling you, guess what? The deal's not going to close when it comes down to day of closing. Because guess what? Underwriters and everything, they see everything. And just because he says, "Oh yeah, that guy's good for it," yeah. Guess what? Underwriters only look at the facts. So by being upfront right away, has it cost us some deals in the past? Sure, but it's better off to make sure that we put out a successful product every time.
And it's saved us a lot more deals than it has cost us, by far.
Yes,
by far. Because if there is something that's going to stop a transaction, it's better to find out about it while we're in the pre-approval, pre-qualification stage before we ever put in an offer, as opposed to be a week away from closing and then all of a sudden find something out. I had one, I'll give you a great example. I had one, we're doing it, it's for a FSBO, and we were going through it. It looked great. I thought, hey, we can close it in January, close it this month. Not a problem. Rich is laughing, he knows what I'm talking about. So because it's for sale by owner, it's not listed in the local MLS. So I pull it up, and the only picture I can find is on Zillow. So I'm looking at it and I think, boy, this looks a little strange. Looks a little bit different. So I go into the tax records and come to find out it's a manufactured home, which we can still do, but it changes a lot of things. There's additional things that we need. We need inspection for the plates that are on the side of the house. We need a structural inspection. We need a few other different things. But, if we would have found this out and I hadn't noticed that before the appraisal was done, then that would have put us way behind, and we would have had to have a different appraisal done because of the type of structure it is.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that the seller or the buyer had anything negative to do with this. They weren't hiding anything. But if it's a manufactured home, and we don't usually see this a lot in FSBOs, but if it's a manufactured home, if it were one that we were working with Rich on, he would have said, hey, Scott, this is a manufactured home, before we ever started pre-qualifying or pre-approving the client, so we knew in advance what we were getting into.
Exactly.
So it's much easier to find out at the beginning than it is halfway or 2/3 of the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one good thing about using a listing agent instead of just doing it for sell by owner is we do all that groundwork ahead of time. Like in the listing, it says manufactured home and home type and stuff like that. So it's very well known to the lender, and B, anybody else that's looking at it, because some people only want to look at manufactured homes and some people don't want to see them at all. So it kind of keeps the truth in the advertising there also. But yeah, and plus there's certain dates you can't go if a manufactured home is sold, it doesn't have the tags because they weren't made back then, and it's hard to get lending on those. So having a realtor like myself who knows what to look for in these situations, thanks to education in the past from guys like Scott, lets me know this house cannot get a mortgage. This house is not eligible for a standard mortgage, or there's going to be a lot of hoops to jump through. Is this house worth it for you?
Right.
So,
and it's all about knowing. It's
mm-hmm.
kind of like that old I forget which TV station on kind of thing says the more you know.
Yeah,
and that's absolutely
NBC,
true in real estate.
The more you know.
Was it what? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, next time I go play trivia, to take you with.
Oh, I'm great at trivia. I know a lot of useless stuff.
All right. But it's true. It's absolutely true. The more we can educate you, and the more we know going into the deal, the easier it's going to be,
mm-hmm.
and it helps you make the appropriate decisions. If you weren't sure if it was a manufactured home, or you say, I don't know what I really want a manufactured home, and I mean, honestly, the newer ones, there's nothing wrong with them. They're nice. I would live
mm-hmm.
in one. But at least you have the ability to make that decision. Or if you say, there's no way I want to live in a manufactured home, you can talk to Rich, and Rich
mm-hmm.
can say, well, if it was made in 1980, there's a little bit of a difference, or 1970, there's a little bit
mm-hmm.
of a difference. But the newer ones now are actually less expensive, only because they're made in a warehouse. So you can have guys working on it in the middle of January at 2:00 in the morning in a heated warehouse. So it's less expensive to put up because they can be done a little
mm-hmm.
bit faster.
Yeah, and thing about it also, if you're building a house out in the elements, and you're putting up siding and everything, guess what? The chances of you trapping moisture in there is really high. And now having a manufactured home that has cured wood, that is built indoors without any rain, hopefully, it's chances for a better product are really high. In fact, my parents are building the retirement home right now, and they chose to go the manufacturer route. They're getting a lot more square footage for a lot lower price too. So, and by the time it's done, I've been checking in on it and seeing it from when they tore down the old place, putting up the foundation to putting on a second story, and I've been in it. You can't even tell that it's a manufactured. I know what to look for, and I have a hard time checking it out. So,
it's a lot of benefits.
Yes.
But again, the more you know, and the
mm-hmm.
more we know, makes it easier for you in the long run.
Yeah, and you know the cool thing when it's on the assembly line. So manufactured homes are built a lot like if you went to a Ford or Chevy assembly plant. It's on a big conveyor belt, and it just goes from station to station, just like an assembly line. It's really cool because you can go there and you can check it out and see your house being made piece by piece. It's really cool. And then when it's on site, it takes less than 2 hours for them to assemble a two-story. Let's see, it was a 2,600 square foot house. It comes in 4 sections, 2 stories, and less than 2 hours for them to assemble it. So that was pretty amazing to see. In fact, there's a time lapse of it. If you go back a few months on my Facebook, I may even repost it just to put it out front. But I have a time lapse video of them actually doing it, and it's pretty fantastic to see.
Right. But again, it's knowing what you're getting into. Again, some people would say, well, I would never buy one of them. They're a trailer. Well, let's talk about it. Let's find out really what it is. So there's a lot of things that Rich and I look at when you approach us and say, hey, I'd like to, I'm thinking about buying a house. I'd like to move forward with something. What do I need to do? When can we start looking at houses? A lot of questions that I ask, a lot of questions that Rich asks. And the reason for that is not because we're trying to be intrusive. If I look at your credit report and go, okay, you've had 4 bankruptcies in 6 years, and you're 30 days late on 6 credit cards, and you've got a 90-day late on your auto loan. Is this a good time for you to be thinking about buying a house? That type of thing. Or do we need to get you caught up before we do that? So it's not something where we're trying to put you down or make you feel bad or anything like that. Is we want to always do what's right for you. And I look at my clients and as I would look at myself, and I would say, would I do this for me? Would I do this for Rich? If Rich approached me and said, hey, here's my situation, this is what I want to do, would I go along with her? Would I say, Rich, maybe we should look at some other options here? Okay. It's the way that we are.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I have 100% success rate of pre-approved buyers that put in an offer on a place. This past year, 100% of them closed. So, and I know, Scott, you do more volume than realtors do, but your number has to be pretty high on how many people that you issued pre-approvals that got to the closing table. So
all but 3.
All but 3
in the last 15 years.
15 years. So that's awesome.
2 of them because they did something they shouldn't have.
Bought a boat?
Not a boat. And one of them because they outright told me something that wasn't true and continued to follow along with that until we found out for sure it wasn't true, and it killed the deal.
Yep. And yeah, see, that's one thing people don't expect. They think once they get the final approval that it's all done. But really, guess what? Credit gets pulled day of closing. So please remember that. Don't buy stuff day before closing. Buy it the day after closing.
Very true.
So, but anyways, we have a high success rate for a reason. And this year it's going to go even higher, hoping to help all your friends and family, if not you, watching the video. Please share this video with somebody that may get use out of this. Please friend me, follow me on Facebook if you're not already. I just want to help and get new home buyers in homes. Renting costs way more than owning a home, so if you're capable of getting pre-approved, definitely I would stop renting. And probably about 90% of cases, I would say. Right now, it's way up there.
There's a few reasons why you should rent. Mm-hmm. For instance, you might say, you know what, my job is going to be transferring me in a year. It's probably not going to be worth it to buy a house if you're going to have to sell it within a year.
And that's part of that 10%. But if you're stable and you know what's going on and you can get pre-approved, you can get probably the same size house or townhome or whatever for a lot less monthly payments. Because guess what? Landlords, they have mortgages and they want to make a profit on top of that. So guess what? Rent is more expensive. It's that simple.
Plus the property taxes are twice as much for a landlord as they would be for you. And no landlord is just going to eat that. What are they going to do? They're going to pass that cost along.
Yep.
So
landlords are in it just like anybody else. They're in it to make money. That's why they do it. So, but other than that, please feel free to reach out to us. And I want to be able to help you guys this year get into your dream home. And Scott wants to help you finance it or refinance. Refinancing is a great option right now. If you bought a home about 3+ years ago, with how the rates keep going, it's an excellent time to save some money.
if your rates are in the 4s or 5s or even more, got somebody right now we're looking at rates 8.75. It's kind of a no-brainer to help them out.
Holy cow.
If you're looking for somebody who's going to be upfront and honest with you, call us.
Yep.
If you want somebody that's going to lie to your face and tell you just what you want to hear, but may not be able to close your loan, I've got some references for you. I'll give you their numbers.
I got some people that I don't enjoy using, and you can go talk to them.
Because again, if you want somebody who's going to be honest and upfront and not just tell you what you want to hear, because we get fallout from lenders like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so and so said I could do this. Well, okay, go back to them and see if they can close the loan for you. In a lot of cases, they can't.
Yep. I called you to try to save a deal last month.
Yeah. And not only do I do it here personally out of this office, we've got our offices around the country, especially on VA loans, where they get some of the borrowers start out with one of those big 800 lenders, and come to find out a couple weeks before closing, they get turned down for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
And our folks have a very good track record of being able to save those loans.
Yeah, and a lot of times people that get turned down that late for loans like that, it's not because of something they did. It's something that the big box company forgot to do. So just saying.
Oftentimes it's finding something out near the closing when we should have found it out at the very beginning. And that could have been either fixed or changed then, and not when you're getting ready to close.
Exactly. There's a lot of issues that if he finds out in day 2 of the contract rather than day 40 of the contract, that can be solved pretty easily. And sometimes it's as easy as a 10-minute phone call that we have to make.
Yep.
But you know what? If that means saving the closing, we're happy to do whatever it takes to save a closing the right way. So
it's like sometimes it's a surprise when things come up. So we like surprises. Like, for instance, Rich comes home and his wife is there and he's got the whole family and it's his birthday and they have big cake and they all yell, surprise.
Yeah.
Or when Rich goes to the mailbox and gets the letter out from the IRS where they're auditing him, he goes, oh, surprise. There's a big difference there. One's good, one's bad. We like the good ones. We don't like the bad ones.
No, and that's why the constant communication that I have with all parties in the transaction, that prevents the surprises. Because if I can make sure that the lender's on top of his game, if I can make sure that the inspector is getting out there in a timely manner, guess what? The faster an inspection gets done and that gets solved, faster the appraisal gets ordered, and faster the appraisal gets ordered, faster we can close, because since that's a third party, that's usually what takes the longest.
Absolutely.
So I think we said everything we want to say. If you're curious about moving up and buying a bigger house, feel free to contact me. If you want to refinance, contact Scott. If you're a first-time home buyer, please call me. You won't be in better hands with anybody else. I can guarantee that.
You're supposed to put out your hands like that. What is it? Allstate? You're in good hands.
I don't know if that's copyright protected, so I'm not going to do that.
All states.
All
You're licensed in all states.
So just like my shirt, just sell it. All right, just sell your home. All right.
That's right.
So give us a like and a share. We appreciate it. It means the world to us. If you guys have any ideas for any topics that you want to hear about, we can talk about anything because we're good at it. But we would rather it be something that you guys want to hear. Other than that, thank you everyone that's watched us over a year and a half now, and we'll see you next Monday.
That's right. Take care, folks. Have a good week.
Take care. Oh yeah, I'm gonna shamelessly plug. I'm gonna have a new video called "Walk Around Wednesdays" this Wednesday, and it's gonna be video walking around one of my listings. So, and I'm gonna try to do that every week. That way, you get to walk through a house without having to freeze outside.
Make sure you check it out.
So, all right. Until next week, he's Scott Swinford with Hancock Mortgage, and I'm Rich Sassman with Century 21. Everybody have a beautiful rest of your Monday.